everyone. I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are seeing this story time. How do you like my hat? I know, Mr. Bobby told me it was a goofy hat, a silly hat. I think it's kind of cool. Maybe you have a guess. Oh, I gotta take my mask off so you can understand what I'm saying. Maybe you could guess why I have this hat on. It's green. Ooh, got a shamrock, got all those kind of things. It's because special day, St. Patrick's Day. I love St. Patrick's Day. Now I have something different for us today. I have my storyboard here, and then we'll have a story after that, and then we'll go over the take and makes. So this morning we will start with, did you ever hear of a leprechaun? Oh, some of you have heard about leprechauns, yes. Well, what I would like to share with you is I have some things that I put together long time ago when I first started doing story times. And I would present it on my storyboard. And I've had it all these years, and every year at St. Patrick's time, I bring it out so I can share it with everyone. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. A little bit about leprechauns. Well, leprechauns, they are like a fairy tale story that comes from a country called Ireland, a country which is far away across the ocean. Now, leprechauns are little elf-type, fairy-type characters. Leprechaun can be shy, or a leprechaun can be very crazy, like to dance and sing, or they could be grumpy. Now, he fell. Now, leprechauns have a very important job. They are called cobblers. A cobbler is someone who makes shoes. And the leprechaun makes shoes with a hammer and tap, 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 he uses to make shoes for the fairies or the elves. I know these are kind of small, especially if we're trying to see them through a camera. This is what I use when I do story time and everyone is here. So I'm hoping this shows through good for you. So little tiny shoes for the elves, and he uses his hammer to tap, tap, tap and make those shoes. Now, the little leprechaun, I'm going to use our shy guy. He has another job. Some say when he makes the shoes for the fairies and he hands the shoes in, they pay him back with gold. And then he keeps all the gold in a pot and he hides it. Some people say he actually keeps it perhaps at the end of a rainbow. Like I said, this is old, things may fall down. Have you ever heard that before? If you get to the end of a rainbow, you'll find a pot of gold? Have you ever found it? I have not. Every time I see a rainbow, if I try to follow it, eventually it fades away, so I never do get to the end of it. I've never found a pot of gold. Well, these little leprechauns, they live in the forest. Some like to work around the toadstools and the mushrooms. Now, here's the thing. I've been told that if you are in the woods and you hear that tap, 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 it could be a leprechaun under a mushroom working on the shoes. Now, if you by chance can catch that leprechaun, he has to tell you where his pot of gold is. The only thing is, leprechauns are very tricky. They have a little bit of magic. And if you catch him, but don't pay much attention to him, poof, he will disappear. But if you catch him and hold on and never take your eyes off of him. He'll show you where his treasure is. Now try that though. You're holding that leprechaun and you have to keep your eyes open. Don't blink, don't blink, don't blink. If you blink, poof, he'll disappear and no treasure. The other problem is if you catch him, you might hold him all day, but what happens when you go to bed at night and you fall asleep? Poof, the leprechaun will disappear. I'm thinking this is why I've never heard of anyone finding and keeping a leprechaun and getting that pot of gold. So it kind of makes it a magical story for everyone. And you know, you can try. And remember, when you are in the woods or walking somewhere and you hear that rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat, it just may be a leprechaun working on the fairy's shoes with his little hammer. You could try to catch him and hold on to him, and he would have to show you that pot of gold. That would be something else. And that's kind of a little bit about leprechauns. Now, I bet some of you may be making a leprechaun trap to try to catch one. I know. I've had children tell me that they make little traps to try to catch leprechauns. But do you know what? All of these years, they tell me about their traps. And when I see them, I say, "Did you catch a leprechaun?" They've never caught one. You might be the first. Who knows? So, along with the leprechaun stories, I have a book, a story, and it's called Clever Tom and the Leprechaun. It's by Linda Shute, and it is published by Scholastic. Now, I read this every year to the kids at the time of St. Patrick's Day because I really enjoy this story. Looks like Tom might have caught a leprechaun. Wonder what might have happened. Let's see what's going to go on in our story. Clever Tom and the Leprechaun. One fine day, on a lady day of the harvest, Tom Fitzpatrick took a ramble down the lane. Click-clack, 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 he heard through the hedge. Click-clack, click-clack, click-clack. What could that be? So Tom tiptoed closer to look. What might be under those hedges? The clacking sound stopped when Tom peeped through the bushes. And in the shadow, what did he see? Why, it was a big gallon pitcher and a teeny tiny man with a brown leather apron and a three-cornered hat. What do you think that is? Now, up the small man climbed. He climbed up on his wee wooden stool and dipped his little piggin into the crock. Then he settled down with his full mug beside him to hammer on the heel of a fairy-sized shoe. By the powers, Tom thought, it's a leprechaun. Oh, if I catch him and I scare him, he'll have to give me his gold. And since I'm a very clever fellow, that should be simple. Now, before the sun sets, I think I am going to have my fortune made. Now, mind you, Tom thought himself to be a clever man. Tom actually was a lazy man. He didn't feel like working. He didn't feel like doing much. And so he thought by being clever, he would someday have what he wanted. So now Tom, he stared at the leprechaun and he tried not to blink. He knew that if he looked away, the old man would escape. Then he crept up quite near and he tipped his hat politely, saying, "Good day to you, neighbor. Blessings on your work." "Thank you kindly," said the little small one. He never looked up though. He just kept tapping, tapping, tapping his little heel piece of the footwear. Tom moved his hand closer while he smiled very sweetly and said, "Today's a holiday. You shouldn't have to work." Well, the leprechaun frowned and he answered Tom sharply, "If I don't, that's my business. None of your own. Instead of pestering me, young man, you, though, ought to be watching your father's fields. Look here, the cows have broken to the oats. See, they're knocking down the corn all about. Cows in the cornfields." Tom's head started turning. Wait a minute. If he turns his head, what might happen? Look how hard he's trying to keep his eyes open. How about you try that again? Can you keep your eyes open really, really wide oh, I couldn't do it. I had to blink already. Let's see how Tom does. But he wasn't fooled by the leprechaun's trick, and quickly he grabbed the sly fellow and cried, "Now you're my prisoner. Tell me where your gold is." Well, the little leprechaun wiggled and twisted and wiggled and whined, "I am just a poor man." But Tom held him fast. "You and I both know you're lying," said Tom, and he made a fierce, frightening face. Finally, the leprechaun quit squirming, and he said, "Tom Fitzpatrick, you're too clever for me. I see that you are after me buried treasure. I'll have to show you where it is for sure." Now, with his eye on the bitty man, looked in his fist, Tom followed where the leprechaun had led him. He traipsed over a hill, under hedges, through the ditch, across the peat bog, and at last, just when Tom feared that he had been hoodwinked, he found himself in a great field of weeds. "Dig there," said the leprechaun, pointing to the bush. "Dig under that bullion, and that's where I put me gold." "Thunderation," said Tom, "I need to fetch a spade, but when I return I'll be lost. There are 40 acres of bullions out there. Each plant looks just like the other. How will he figure this out?" Still watching the leprechaun, Tom figured out a plan. He tied a bright red garter to the bush. "Swear, you old rascal, that you won't take this off while I run back to get my spade." "That I will promise you," said the little man. Tom grimaced, knowing that the leprechaun always keeps their word. But they are tricky. "Now, since I have shown you where my treasure is, I don't suppose that you'll need me anymore." "Nope," said Tom. "My fortune's made. You may go, and good luck and go with you." "Then goodbye," said Tom Fitzpatrick, said the leprechaun, "and may you do much good with what you have found." I don't know what's going to happen. What do you think might happen? So away Tom ran, as fast as he could run, figuring how he would spend his gold. And he did leave the leprechaun. He took his eyes off the leprechaun. Oh boy. Then back he came with his shovel in his hand, back to the field of bullions. But when he got there, lo and behold, There were red ribbons, just like his own, tied to each and every bush for as far as he could see. Oh, boy, oh boy. How is Tom ever going to find that treasure under the one plant? So Tom, he dug under a boulder. And then he thought he had tied his garter there, but nothing was buried under that bush. So he dug under another. He dug, under another, and still there was no treasure. Now the harvest moon had rose, and he dug north, and he dug south, and it set, the moon was up, the sun was down, and he had not found his treasure. Next morning, when the sun did come up, Tom saw that he had dug hundreds of holes, and tired Tom Fitzpatrick knew he couldn't find that gold. So he gave up and he headed for home. Can any of you tell me what Clever Tom's mistake was? Did I hear someone say that he left the leprechaun? Yes, he left the leprechaun. Did he take his eyes off of the leprechaun? Yes, he took his eyes off of the leprechaun. Whatever made Clever Tom think that the leprechaun would be there? Boy, he was tricked. Now from then on, Tom always carried his spade, but he never stopped listening for the tapping in the fields. Every chance he got, he would also tell how he nearly found the gold. And since I'm a clever fellow, Tom said, at the end of his tale he would say, the next time I catch a leprechaun, I will have my fortune made. So for years, Tom told his story as an old man, how he almost caught the leprechaun and almost had that pot of gold. Meantime, the leprechaun would listen to Tom's story and just laugh. Do you think Tom ever was able to get the treasure? I don't think so. Nope, Leprechaun was the one who was clever, not Tom. And that is our story about Clever Tom and the leprechaun. So remember that if you are out there, you happen to hear that rat-a-tat-tatting, just could be a leprechaun, but don't do what Tom did. Tom took his eyes away from the leprechaun. Never did get the treasure. And that's our story of Clever Tom and the leprechaun, and our storyboard time about little leprechauns. I think it would be really fun to find a leprechaun. I don't think I would necessarily have to have the treasure. I just think it would be fun to know a leprechaun. I don't know. Oh, but what we could do is, for fun, we could do a take and make of a leprechaun. Remember, a take and make, all the materials you need are put together in a kit. Mom or Dad can call the library to make arrangements to pick up a take and make, or if you stop in with Mom and Dad, ask for a take and make, and we'll have them here for you. And this is just a cute little leprechaun. Or, we have two crafts this time. We also have the shamrock. A little, nice little wand of a shamrock you could make. Pretend you're having a parade. When I made my shamrock, I turned it over and I even drew some pictures on there. I put like a rainbow and a pot of gold and a unicorn, and so you could do a lot with this take and make also. And that's what I wanted to share with you. So we have time for maybe one or two songs. We always need to do, what is our first one? Yep, our itsy bitsy spider. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. I like that song. I think, how about we skip over to the wheels on the bus? Everybody likes wheels on the bus. Let's get those wheels going. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 all through the town. The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 beep. The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 all through the town. Uh-oh, my leprechaun fell on the floor. The leprechaun on the bus says, peekaboo, peekaboo, peekaboo. The leprechaun on the bus says, peekaboo, all through the town. The kids on the bus say, show me your treasure, show me your treasure, show me your treasure. The kids on the bus say, show me your treasure, all through the town. The leprechaun on the bus says, no, I won't, no, I won't, no, I won't. The leprechaun on the bus says, no, I won't, all through the poof. He disappeared. Oh. Let's go back to the song as it was. The doors on the bus go open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. The doors on the bus go open and shut, all through the town. Lights on the bus go blink, 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 blink. The lights on the bus go blink, 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 all through the town. Babies on the bus go wah, 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 wah. The babies on the bus go wah, 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 all through the town. Mommies on the bus go shh, 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 shh. The mommies on the bus go shh, 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 all through the town. Daddies on the bus go bumpity bump, a bumpity bump, a bumpity bump. The daddies on the bus go bumpity bump, all through the town. And the kids on the bus jump up and down, up and down, up and down. The kids on the bus jump up and down, all through the town. Yeah, how did you like that leprechaun peeking out at us? But we didn't get the treasure. My goodness. So, our story time is ending today. I hope you enjoyed everything about leprechauns and St. Patrick's Day and magic and clever and tricky. So everyone enjoy St. Patrick's Day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.